there's a lot of brutalness in the fights where he got his head blown off. I noticed that too in your movies, bro. Like, I've been watching a few of them, and there's a lot of brutalness in the fights, man. Like when I don't want to jump, but like when you were putting the needles in his fingers and like it was like like that's just like in the electric, like and then the guy's it was Avengement where he got his head blown off.
I think while we do this, we have a certain obligation to not glamorize violence. You know what I mean? I think there's I have a concern that you make these films about violence and people getting shot and beaten up, but the truth of the matter is, if you've ever been in one of these situations, it's a scar that never leaves you. You know, if you really do hurt someone that badly, it's an awful thing. If you're around it, it's something you never really forget. You know, and we as filmmakers, I think we have a certain obligation to let people remember this is not fun. I mean, it's not fun to get in a fist fight or a gunfight or a knife fight. It's a horrible thing. It's the most basest, awful reduction to sort of ape-man logic that you can possibly, fall back to. And I think it's terrible. And I think, violence is something to be avoided in life. It's something, it's not something to be celebrated and laughed at and giggled about. But, that's, the problem is with making movies, you'll make these films and then there's always going to be that audience that just desperately wants that visceral thrill of seeing someone pulled apart. There'll be others that are horrified by it, and that's the response you want. You want to horrify people by this, and I try. I mean, I do my best, but you just get people coming back and I loved it when they got their head blown off. Like, dude, that's the worst thing. What are you talking about? You loved it, but
yeah, it was brutal, bro. It was brutal with the shotgun, and I noticed you work with Scott Adkins a lot. And I was just watching
Nick Ryan, he got his head blown off. You're right. Yeah, that was a good
I was like, oh shit! I was like, wow. I was like, that, boom,
I get very upset as well when there's a lot of films now made by these young kids that don't think they've ever been to a shooting range, let alone seen the effects of what a real gun does. And they have the plastic guns that they put CG flash on, and then they put a squirt of blood on the guy and he falls over. We're going back to like the 1950s in terms of innocence of shooting, where the cowboy went boom like that, and off camera the other guy went and fell down. And this is, I think, this is the worst thing you can do for an audience and for for a generation of people. They associate a gunshot as being a bloodless, painless, ending to that particular chapter. Now he's moved on. The good guy moves on to the next thing. We see it in John Wick. I think it's beyond reprehensible. You shoot a person, it's never clean. It's very rare that they'll go down straight away unless you get a headshot. And even if you've killed them, they usually stick around for 8 to 10 seconds, while the nervous system is going, where they're still dangerous. They can shoot back at you. I mean, this, you have to, you see cops, they empty an entire magazine to a person. That's what they're trained to do. It's a very difficult thing to stop another human being, especially when they're intent on, doing you damage. And I think we have to show this. I think, we have an obligation to show what it's actually like, the sickness and the trauma that's associated with the mess that it makes, the blunt force trauma, causes when it hits the soft flesh of humanity. It's not clean. It's not easy. They don't bounce off. If you're wearing a suit, it doesn't bounce off you, even if the suit's made of Kevlar. It's like, anyway, that's my rant over. It is what it is.